Couple days shy of my favorite holiday. We're in Mexico, and this is F1 2020, MyTeam Principal. It's episode number 6. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back. We have just 3 races in the season left to run, so we will be wrapping up this first season shortly. Facilities, we do have a little bit of money to spend. Not a ton. 6 million. Last upgrade we can probably manage to get this season. It's 15 million, 10 million, so those are both out of reach. That's certainly where I'd like to get started. Durability is still spec 0. That's one area. Personnel upgrades, quite affordable, and will help our second driver. Racecraft and awareness both going up. Let's go ahead and take these 2 upgrades, and we'll finish off our Spec 1 upgrades on personnel. R&D, if you watched the last episode, you would have seen that we have 2 major rule changes coming for next season that weren't announced till late in the year. Powertrain is one of those. We've already covered off all of those upgrades that we previously did in preparation for next season. But now, the aero department, with 11 upgrades, we have just 3 races to try to cover all of these off at a decreased cost. Otherwise, we're going to have to pay them once again from scratch. So let's go ahead and start with a major drag reduction. We have 300 points left. We could get one of the minor ones. Let's go ahead and get this one just above it. And man, oh man, that is a lot still to cover off with just a few races to go before we lose that progress. I have a strong feeling that we are done with upgrades for this year. Speaking of done with, we did add our 5th chassis upgrade, our first major weight reduction upgrade. At least we do have one last upgrade that has come onto the car. But with that, you can see we're still packed tightly into the midfield, but also drifting behind just a little bit here in these last few races. I think one of the good things out of this, though, is we are putting the car in a position, hopefully if I can get everything covered off, that we'll have a good start to next season. We're going to see quite a few teams dropping down where I should at least stay the same. So it might hurt us a little bit in these final few races for this year, but it should help us a lot at the beginning of next year. Just 2 days as we're on the second half of back-to-back, so we're going to add a little more experience for Calderon, and then we're going to head into the race weekend for the Mexican Grand Prix. Of course, we were just in Texas on that last one. Alright, so we're on to the Mexican Grand Prix. It is qualifying. I'm going to do a single flying lap, the only hot lap we're going to get of the episode. Whatever I get for that result is what I get. I haven't even hooked up my racing wheel. I'm on the gamepad. We'll see if I can get through this one flying lap with some sort of manageable time. Figure out real quick what the upshift downshift buttons are. DRS button. It's been a long time since I have used the gamepad. You can see I'm all over the place here early on. Alright, so here we go. That's not a good start. Paying attention to the telemetry and sawgrass. Oh, missed my braking zone big time there. see if the lap even counts. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? She starts from last place, or she starts every other race. Quickest so far. Quickest so far. I think I was the 9th driver to cross the line. So it might be enough to get out of Q1. Yeah, first place. AI is not turned up that high on this. It is higher than my last question mark series, though, by 10 points.
If you want to know specific information or make certain changes to the car during a pit stop, you can tell me what you want over the radio.
Oh, wow.
Press and hold the radio button to activate the system, and you can either speak the command or select it manually from the radio screen that will appear on the multifunction display.
Hamilton, Verstappen have both been out there already.
Cycle through command groups with the MFD button.
Time won't hold at the top. Bottas goes top, but it'll definitely get out of Q1, which means the cutoff point, not your standard, it'll be 16th instead of 15th with 22 cars in the field. It looks like it might even be enough to hang on for possibly P2. So as I said before, I'm giving myself a single flying lap. It was good enough for P2 in the first qualifying session, which guarantees a 16th place grid start. Of course, here in Q2, I've already done my one lap. I'm not doing one lap per session, just one lap. So we start from P16. Verstappen was quickest out this time. Bottas wins from pole, stretching his lead in the championship with just 2 races left to go over Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen claims 3rd to get up on the podium. Ricciardo was best of the rest today, so Renault having a bit of a run at the moment. Noda gets into the points today, but Juju only grabs 2 with a 9th place finish. It's going to be really hard at this point to do anything else in this one with just a couple races to go. 3 points ahead of Ricciardo, 7 ahead of Perez. There is a pretty good chance that we will drop down a spot or 2 here in the final 2 races. 16 points Bottas is ahead of Hamilton now. And in that Constructors, we fall further back. So Renault jumps McLaren by 2 points. Racing Point has definitely pulled away, 20 points clear there. And I'm now 8 points behind McLaren. So I have a feeling we're going to just finish 7th. But in that Drivers, we'll see. I would think with 2 races to go, Ricciardo's going to get enough points to get ahead of us. Perez, maybe. 9 days to fill this time. We're going to continue focusing on our teammate here. That leaves us 4 days. We've got 2 2-day events. Or 1 4-day event with some massive team acclaim and money. It's going to hurt the department morale. But I really don't need to worry about that department morale right now, as we're just covering off parts for next season. I do have $5 million to spend. However, end of the season, right around the corner. I have no idea how greatly things are going to be affected, but obviously we're going to need to buy an engine again, re-sign our driver. That's all going to cost us some money. So as a result, I'm going to go ahead and hang on to our funds until I know just what's in store for our first off season. After that race, we're only able to adapt a single additional part. We have 1 more major and then a bunch of minor upgrades to cover off in these last couple of races. But it's not looking good for potentially getting all of those done. After this race, there is only 1 left in the season. For this race, we're at Interlagos. This is literally translates as between the lakes. This is the Brazilian Grand Prix, and from 12th place on the grid, Lewis Hamilton has won. And looky who got a podium. Alexander Albon, not taken out by Hamilton, gets a clean race, finishes 2 seconds behind. Bottas from pole, finishing just third. He loses 11 points of his 16-point lead. So a 5-point lead for Bottas heading into the final round. A chance to be only the second Mercedes driver to steal a championship away from Hamilton. Previous time he had to take him out repeatedly throughout the season, had to have weird reliability issues that didn't plague both cars, and then a sudden retirement at the end. Questionable stuff. But hey, it's Vettel in 4th, Verstappen 5th, Leclerc all the way down in P6 after starting on the front row. Sainz takes best of the rest, big boost for McLaren. Ricciardo picks up some of those points he needed. He gets 4 points after finishing 8th. Perez also finishing ahead of us. We do get into the points, but only to P10. AlphaTauris are going to be really disappointed after both cars get through to Q3. Both of them missing out on the points. Ahead of the Alphas, Stroll with a terrible race. Started P6, finished in P15. Magnussen, a decent performance, up to P16. Calderon finishing in 20th, ahead of the two Williams once again. But in that positive trend, couple seconds ahead of Russell. Right on the heels of Grosjean. She's headed the right direction, but she's got a ways to go. Of course, the car hasn't been developed in a while. We've had a single upgrade in the last 5 races or something like that, so we are just slipping down the order a little bit. Still 7th for now, because look who is equal on points with us. Daniel Ricciardo, equal at 59. 6 points ahead of Perez, though. We've got a good chance, right? Best of the rest. 7th is 6 points. 10th is 1. All we have to do is finish anywhere in the top 10, and we should beat out Perez and or Sainz safely. Ricciardo's the real danger, though. I think there's a 80% chance that Ricciardo will beat us in that next race and take 7th place. 7th as a team in our first season is excellent. Similar to what Haas did in their opening season. Of course, they've struggled a bit the last couple of years, but McLaren and Renault equal on points also, so they're going to be duking it out for 5th place in the Constructors. And in what would have been a surprise prior to this season, Racing Point all the way up in 4th. They're probably going to finish there in real life, too. 1,000 points is nice, but it's not going to get us that far when one major upgrade is already 575 just to cover off. So we'll adapt that part for next season. And with 429, it looks like we're going to come up short of anything additional. Trying to see which one might have the biggest impact. We haven't done anything front downforce or the rear downforce, and this one is drag reduction. Yes. So it looks like we're coming up short by 6 parts. I might get a chance after this race, hopefully, to cover off some more. And with all the major upgrades covered, it's a little less expensive on the minors. I've been doing 1 major and 2 minors per race. I might, if I'm lucky, be able to cover off 3 additional parts after this next race. I certainly hope so. Otherwise, we have a bit of work to do next season to catch back up. Enough weekly points to make 1 more upgrade for sure. We'll take care of that diffuser, the most expensive one. I've left the cheapest ones, other than 1 more expensive, the barge board, so that if we do have to go back and do them from scratch next season, they'll be at a lower cost. Equal on points for 7th place. Cars behind close enough that I could still finish as low as 10th in the Drivers' Championship as we head into this final race of the season in Abu Dhabi. Also battling for the Drivers' Championship does come down to this final race. Only 5 points separating our top 2. And of course, there are enough points from first to second place for that to be the difference. Will Lewis Hamilton claim his 7th championship, or will it be Valtteri Bottas getting his first? Bottas has the advantage, but Hamilton has the experience. How will that turn out? We will go to the live results on this one with the AI commentary post-race so we can get the reveal together.
Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. It's another clear win for Mercedes as they managed to secure the Constructors' title. An incredible performance for the whole team. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Surprises all over the place. Let's start from the bottom. We'll come back to the top on this one. First off, Tatiana Calderon finishing with a personal career best 18th place. That's still not a very good result, but she does finally beat both Williams and both Haas cars. So that's pretty big. That's a good start. Stroll, after starting 9th, all the way down 17th. Alphas. One of the McLarens misses out on the points completely. Both Renaults. Ricciardo started 7th, finishes this race down in P13. Wow, okay, so what does that mean? Ricciardo, who I was equal on points with, doesn't score any. I'm going to beat Ricciardo. Gasly gets into the points for the first time all season in the final race, picking up a single championship point. Perez gets 2, Sainz gets 4, so McLaren will beat out Renault. They were equal on points. I get 6 points to retain 7th in the Drivers' Championship. I didn't think I was going to drop all the way to 10th, but I thought for sure I would be at least 8th place, maybe 9th. And it goes the exact opposite of what I expected. And then Albon takes 6th, Vettel 5th, Leclerc 4th. Hamilton beats Bottas. They started 1-2, but Verstappen fights all the way from 4th place, takes the quickest lap, so he gets the bonus point, and wins the race. So while Hamilton beat Bottas, Bottas wins the championship by a mere 2 points. They combined for exactly 800. One fastest lap for Hamilton over Bottas would have been equal points. Verstappen takes 3rd, not that far behind, 57 points down. Leclerc, okay, well ahead of Vettel in the end. Albon, well behind in 6th. And I take 7th place in the championship, and they're confirming Gasly finally scores 1 point. AlphaTauri just 10 on the season. Alfa Romeo, Haas, and Williams never scoring this season. Calderon jumps Russell with that finish for best finish of the season to claim 20th in the standings. And there it is. McLaren pulls 4 points clear of Renault. They were both at 72. And that is McLaren to take 5th place, just ahead of Renault, just ahead of us. What a season. 2 points, and Valtteri Bottas wins the Drivers' Championship for the first time in his career. First off-season task is to renegotiate with Tatiana Calderon. Let's go ahead and make sure we... You know what, actually, let's go with the medium risk. We're not under threat of losing her to anyone else. Alright, we have 9 days to fill. 4 in the first slot, 5 in the second. Take the acclaim bonuses and a chassis morale bonus as we head towards the off-season. Again, facilities, even though I do have 9 million, I think it's more than enough. We're also about to pick up a bonus. I'm still going to hang on to it just until I know. It doesn't hurt me, I think, to wait just a little bit to be certain. But we finish this season, performance-wise, 3rd from bottom. but very much in the mix with Renault and McLaren. Alfa Romeo, so disappointing for them, and AlphaTauri, that between the two teams, they only grabbed 10 points, even though they end up finishing the season on paper as the 5th and 6th best outfits. 663 points should be enough to make at least 2 more. We'll go ahead and take that most expensive one. But 288, that's going to force us down. So we're going to lose out on 3 parts. Really sucks. So no development the back chunk of the season. And we still lose out on 3 parts being covered off. So we are going to have to spend essentially double, which is going to amount to about 900 points to get those 3 parts back on the car, and plus development time, just to get back to where we were. But a lot of teams, I think, are going to lose more than we did. Again, we were being outpaced in those final races, so I'm guessing a lot of teams didn't spend the money to cover things off, but we were also pretty far ahead in the aero department. Alright, here we go, pushing to the end of our very first season as a team in Formula One, and you've got to say it was a very successful one. Speaking of, looks like Will Buxton wants to talk about it.
Well, it's great to be back at your headquarters, and I've got to say, an awful lot's changed since we were last here. Let's dive in with some questions. It's been wonderful to spend some time with you. Best of luck out on track.
238 R&D points, not enough to get another part upgraded, or at least covered off, and so we're going to head into season number 2. Huge acclaim boost, huge, at the end of the season. I'm up to level 9, Calderon up to level 6, team up to level 12. We add in, from prize money and sponsor money, a whopping amount of cash that brings us to $32 million. I scored 65 points this season, finishing 7th in the championship. Really good. We need our teammate to come up through the field a bit more and start joining us further up the grid. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tune in next time for the beginning of season number 2 in the Formula One World Championship. Have a good one. Be sure to hit that like button. Be safe out there. And bye for now.